Ladies and gentlemen, I told y'all this season was iconic, didn't I? I told y'all that this 16 player cast was different. It was different gravy. And boy, has it smothered the mashed potatoes. Understand here, coach, I couldn't be happier to bring you all this sixth rant of Big Brother 26, the second live feeds update of the season, entitled People Pleaser Paradox. And what is the old school saying, old school idiom we grew up with? If you try to be friends with everyone, you're friends with nobody. And I fear that Angela is starting to become all stricken with this entire conflict. The people pleaser, in trying to please the majority of the House with three noms that she viewed as being the safer noms, even being willing to nominate the other older player on the cast, Angela really put all her chips in with the nine-person alliance. Now, the funniest part about it is, after night two, it's abundantly clear no one really trusts Rubina on either side of the game. So go figure that. She's included in the nine, but no one really wants her in the nine after night two as much as they want T-Kor and Kimo there. But I digress. Understand, I gave you all the perfect cheat sheet last night, well, yesterday afternoon, pardon me, but I saw a lot of the feedback. A lot of you said, Dave, we still don't have a name to go with a face. So can you provide that for us? Oh, I always look out for my fan base. Don't worry about it. So from moving forward, if we're doing a live feeds update, this will be here to my side to help you all. A median, a compass, a legend, if you will. Well, I can argue Angela's becoming a legend as the first HOH of this season. She is tapped fully into her inner Frenchie. That's why in this rant, we're going to break down Angela's spiral. We're going to break down Matt's further delusion. We're going to break down Leah's game getting worse. We're going to break down Chelsie rising to the top as being one of the best players here. I told y'all yesterday she was top 5 in my top 5 power rankings. Now people are seeing it on the Jumbotron. I'm very impressed and pleased with her gameplay. We also got to talk about Quinn, who definitely utilized all of the information Matt voluntarily gave him in that storage room to Quinn's advantage. And now I can create the argument he's figured out a way to bury Leah and Tucker's games all in one. So get yourself a cold beverage and kick your feet up, because we're going to break down this and more here exclusively on RBR, where the real stars are. It's time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the critically acclaimed Pop the Trunk podcast, now Patreon exclusively sponsored Hall of Fame, Recency Bias Radio, with me, of course, as your humble host. Now, we're back once again for a live feeds update. Where I left you off at was right before noms were happening. I created the great and accurate prediction that we would have Lisa, Kenny, and of course Kimo on the block. That was followed through upon. Before noms happened, Chelsie, she played real good full court defense. She tried to really throw MJ under that magic school bus by getting Angela to see that MJ is currently after her the most. And that would be factual information, because in the last rant, I was even mistaken, believing maybe Chelsie did have some affinity for MJ. After further review, we could tell she can't stand her butt. She can't stand her, which is also great for me because Chelsie formed the core three with Cedric and Cam, okay? Understand, they are doing and they are giving the streets what we need. But with that said, Chelsie played a fantastic game yesterday. She built upon the core three, immediately approached Brooklyn and tried to bring her into the fold. Brooklyn's another player within my top 5. Whenever my top 5 players link up, it's definitely going to be worth it. Not only that, they're linking up with Quinn. They really like Quinn. Cam is spending a lot of time with Quinn in the have-not room. A lot of people don't trust Tucker. So this is allowing Cam and Quinn to bond a lot more often because they're basically being used as spies to watch Tucker. So Chelsie, she's doing a fantastic job of creating a cohesive sub-alliance within the larger nine. And they are being smart to leave out the Rubinas of this world because they don't know if Rubina's loyalty truly is to Matt. Now, later on in the day, there was a 5-person all-women's alliance that was implemented, but because the ladies, and let me name who's in it, MJ, Leah, Rubina, Chelsie, and Brooklyn. Now, Brooklyn wasn't in the storage room for this formation, similar to how Joseph wasn't in the storage room for the 6-player alliance TBD's formation. But with that said, it's worth putting on the scoreboard as another alliance that has been formed. But because none of the ladies could come up with a name quickly enough, it felt like all of them were trying their best not to look like the fool who came up with the name too soon that gets ridiculed later on for believing in it. So none of them really wanted to show a real hunger or thirstiness to bring that girls' alliance together. Because of it, I think all of them are aware that it's completely fake. And if all of them believe it's completely fake, then that is proof alone that they were just posturing in that moment, trying to read something off one another. We know based off what Chelsie has aired out regarding MJ towards Angela, Chelsea's not really trying to go far with her. We know based off Chelsie, the type of work she's been doing, similar to a Quinn, similar to a Joseph. All 3 of these players have really held things down, been able to run information back to the 9, whereas Leah, she seems to be withholding more information from the 9. In fact, Leah chose to go the opposite route after noms happened. When she started to hear more about the 9 from Angela, Leah decided to straight up out the 9, not specific names within it, because she doesn't even know who are all in it really, but she still outed the 9 too mad at MJ, which I believe was a terrible move because later on in the evening, Quinn outed her when he was speaking to Angela about the final 3 she offered Matt at MJ. So Leah right now, her game is actually cooked. It's on the hibachi grill. But production, Paramount Plus, I want y'all to take a bow. I want y'all to absolutely take a bow. These live feeds have been fantastic. It's like Thanksgiving. I don't know what to put on my plate first.
Chicken wings, fried catfish, yams, collard greens, mac and cheese, cornbread. These are braised oxtail, and these are neck bone.
That's what it's like watching BB26 live feeds right now, Coach. I can't find a favorite player because everyone is vying for it so well. Even Angela has lived up to what I thought she could be as a super fan. Now, granted, Angela is also playing very sloppy. For example, she didn't let 2 out of the 3 of the noms that she was nominating in the process of wanting to target Kenny, she didn't let them know they were going up. Now, Kimo, he took it on the chin. He understands he's a pawn. But the Lisas of this world, hey man, the chef, she ain't feeling this, Coach. Lisa went on a tirade. I thought it was one of the funniest things ever how the first group of people Lisa wanted to approach were all women, more specifically white women. That told me Lisa was trying to let them know, y'all better not let me go before the shadow realm awaits us all. You feel me, dig me? And I don't blame her. I really don't blame her to a certain degree because I bet Lisa's thinking, damn, why they say F me for? You know what I'm saying? But with that said, just imagine living a day of the life of K-Tor. You feel me, dig me, Coach? Because she has a right to say that even more. The way all these people on feeds keep using her name as someone that just should touch the block makes me wonder what happened before feeds what happened before we were able to watch feeds. Because a lot of people feel strongly about K-Tor in a negative light, and I just don't see what she's done thus far. I would love to tell you what it is, but I don't. She's almost similar to a Kenny in that sense, where a lot of people have been rubbed the wrong way, but because we don't really know the origin or the context of it, we got to just keep going along with the mystery, trying to figure out where the clues are. Speaking of Kenny, this is a guy who took this nomination kind of hard, if I'm being honest. He was on that kitchen counter. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Now, of course, you got Matt giving him a pep talk, Tucker to a degree giving him a pep talk. But as these men give him a pep talk, it confirms to Angela more why Kenny needs to go. And if Lisa would calm down a bit, I personally believe Angela would have no problem with Lisa staying. But the more erratic Lisa acts, the more it makes a player like Angela want to pivot to keep Kenny over Lisa, believing Kenny will stay anyway, because apparently there's 2 chances to save yourself if you're nominated this week, which makes it even more crazy because it means every HOH now has the likelihood that they could nominate 5 people per week. That's an astonishing statistic. Also, it does feel like a lot of players in the game believe that MJ and Quinn have the twist. Now, some are framing other players for having the twist. I remember seeing Angela go out of her way to defend her own honor to Leah and say, look, I don't have the twist. And I don't even know why Angela has to defend herself so much to Leah. Leah, you the one who had a 50-50 chance that you squandered. I'm just keeping it a bean. But with that said, what makes all of this so great is the fact that Angela is so unhinged. Because she's so unhinged, 1 hour she'll feel a certain type of way about someone. Like, I'm going to run y'all down the gauntlet on all the people she has questioned within the 9 since she's done noms. She questions Brooklyn because Brooklyn spends time with Kenny. And in her mind, if Kenny's her target, why is Brooklyn working so hard on getting close to Kenny? So now, Brooklyn, the one who seemed to be Angela's best friend on night 1, seems like she's been kicked down the priority list a bit here. She's been kicked down the queue because now Angela doesn't know if Brooklyn's playing both sides. Now, we all know Chelsie, Quinn, Joseph, and Leah were playing both sides, but it feels like Angela doesn't trust Leah anymore because of storage room gate. Feels like, too, by proxy, she doesn't really trust Chelsie as much as she should. Chelsea's working on that by snitching on MJ, though. And it really feels like she's beginning to question Joseph as well. Now, the Joseph thing is built around the fact that Joseph tried to use pivoting prowess to throw Matt and MJ off the scent of just how on to MJ and Matt Angela and him are. So what Joseph tried to do was he was trying to bring Angela into the fold of the TBD6 alliance. That way, Chelsie, Angela, Joseph, the 3 of them, along with Quinn in theory, they could share information about both groups without having to feel guilty or without having to worry about placing a target on Angela if they're seen with her from a Matt and MJ perspective. It all makes sense to me, but you have to put yourself in the mind of the player. Angela, she's growing in paranoia due to the people-pleasing paradox, and because of it, she is questioning if her allies really have her back or if they set her up to go down this route that just makes her look like the lame duck. The truth is, I believe if she keeps her composure, she's in a perfectly good position because Kenny clearly has it more out for Joseph than he even does for Angela right now. And I don't even know what Joseph did, right? But the way Kenny is speaking is like, oh, well, Joseph, he doesn't talk much. He just walks around like a little snake and he whispers to Angela. And you got to put yourself in the shoes of a player who views Joseph as not maybe being the best social player in big social gatherings. Joseph's more the individual one-on-one social expert guy. Similar to Quinn. Like if you put them in a large room, they're not really the most charismatic. But if you put them in a smaller room with people that actually are like-minded to a degree, they really pop off the page in their influence. I think someone like Kenny is starting to assess who the real threats are to his game because any guy who isn't rah-rah with Kenny probably wants to dispose of because he views them as a proxy for the ladies. Maybe that's a lazy assumption for him to make, but I think he believes it's based on sensible information that he has gathered, right? So you gotta understand, Kenny right now is looking at Joseph as the op. Tucker, he's trying to throw Matt under the bus to Angela to save face, because once again, if 2 people could come off the block, Tucker don't want to be a replacement nom. So he reads the room. He sees that Matt is the one that's pissing people off, for lack of a better term. So Tucker, he tells Angela that Matt was the one who instituted the final 2 deal with him. He's the one who turned it down. So now Tucker is trying to play Matt like Matt the thirsty one. Whole time Tucker don't know Matt already gave up the final 2 the night before. So Tucker's big issue is once Quinn links back up with Angela, which he did last night, to tell her that no, it was actually Tucker who believed in that final 2 more than Matt did. Now, Matt, who's already got his game screwed up, because he has this delusion of grandeur that, oh, I'm like the real HOH here, y'all. The way everyone keeps coming to me. You know, I was in that storage room for an hour and a half. I was just trying to get some grapes. You know? And it's so funny. This morning, Angela completely went off on Matt, called this man crazy eyes, called him Hoyos Locos. Production, Paramount Plus, take a bow, man. After 1 week of Angela's HOH, you know they bringing in that money. You know they bringing in that bread, bro. This is them right now. A live look at production, huh? That's the truth there. That's a live look at production, ladies and gentlemen. They are having a Lucille Ball right now. They cannot believe that this 50-year-old HOH has made Big Brother worth watching again. I mean, even with no flashback feature, the amount of people that are this clued in, and I can create the argument, because there's no flashback, everyone is watching the same thing at the same time at all times. It's almost like how I say, when Netflix gives us too many episodes of a season at once, we're all scattered on different episodes because people choose to watch at different times. But if you only give us one episode per week, all we can talk about is that one episode, right? So that one episode gets the attention it deserves. Whereas sometimes the binge culture, it makes us unappreciative of each individual step more. I have a legit argument here that we are more appreciative of every moment on these feeds. Number one, because BB didn't have them over the last few months. But number two, because this is a cast that we care about. There is a player who anyone can relate to on a cast like this. You got your unhinged old school players like Lisa, like Angela. You got your new school thinkers and social strategic masterminds like a Quinn, like a Joseph. You got the Kennys of this world who everyone thought was suited up to do well that isn't. You got the K-Tors of this world who can be the late bloomer to learn the game as she goes along. You got the Chelseas of this world who was given a bad hand at the beginning of the blackjack game, somehow kept getting hit, and all of a sudden she got 5 cards and didn't even reach 21. She's cooking, huh? At the end of the day, there is someone for everybody here. The fact that we have the Core 3 Alliance, Cam is rising in influence. People are starting to question him. Feels like Quinn is a little skeptical about Cam hanging out more with Matt. Feels like Angela, to a degree as well, is scared about that. But I do believe Angela does trust Cam a lot more than the other guys on this cast, not named Cedric. I do believe she really does have an affinity for both of those brothers because both of them have had her back pretty much from the start. And we all know Cam has always wanted to work with parents. So all these things check out if you ask me. And that's why it makes perfect sense why players are playing the way they are playing. With that said, though, for Tucker and Matt to have already thrown each other under the bus, for Leah's game to be completely compromised due to Quinn, Quinn has done damage to several games that I can create the argument Matt giving information to Quinn ruin the chances of Matt being able to rally troops to be able to clap back effectively. Because once Tucker and Leah hear that it's Matt's fault why they are not trusted by half the house, what do you think they're going to do? Be mad at half the house or blame Matt and allow Matt to stay the person everyone stumps out? It's common sense. They're going to keep stumping Matt out. So no matter how you shake it, ladies and gentlemen, Matt has done a poor job here of utilizing his influence to his long-term advantage. He is engaged in a lot of, okay, if he wasn't in the storage room a lot last night, he's basically just in that little True Blood bedroom with the unicorn all night, right? He's not moving enough. Now, he talks, but a lot of his talking isn't efficient talking. A lot of it is bloatware, right? A lot of it is third-party games that no one wants to keep installed on their PlayStation, right? We're not talking AAAs here, right? And that really is his game in a nutshell. He doesn't really know what he wants to do with his game. So, to recap, Angela is basically questioning everyone, which is leading to her to spiral. But it feels like Quinn is her number one tether right now who can keep her off the deep end. Joseph he has done a great job of working with Chelsie to bring Kimo and T-Kor into the fold to guarantee no matter what, they at least have the 7-vote majority this week, because keep in mind, Cedric and Chelsie both can't vote. This is why it's so essential that they find 2 other numbers that replace them within the 9 for a vote this week. That's also very important. I like how they are looking towards the future, not just trying to game in the present. And the way Joseph, the minute he started feeling a little bit of heat, the way he flocked to the black folks, that's a great sign to me. All right, I'm just saying. But in all seriousness, though, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a fantastic season. If you don't have live feeds yet, please invest in them. You won't regret it. These players came to play. Quinn is still number 1 in my power rankings. Excuse me. Mainly because he is within all of the alliances that matter. The core 3 trust him, which is key. Angela, she has lost trust in everybody who was within the TBD6 and the 9, not named Quinn, which speaks volumes of how great Quinn has played this. Quinn also came clean to Joseph and told him about how Angela was losing trust in him. So now Joseph has reasons to believe Quinn is being honest with him from the start. So Quinn, Joseph, and Chelsie, because they all 3 of them have a tough game they have to play by having to play both sides, they're earning respect for each other because all 3 of them are carrying the heaviest weight within the 9. That should be stated as well, and this, once again, is what I foresaw, and this is why I ranked all 3 so well. So, honestly, I feel like we have a really good season on our hands. We have a bunch of players who understand the game that they need to play. Sure, are there some players we would like to play a little bit harder? Sure, but I like the fact that Lisa's been this entertaining. I didn't see that coming. She is really angry at Angela. Angela tried to hug her. She refused to hug her. I'm like, girl, we only 1 week into this game. How you that pissed? How? Oh, you're ruining it. You feel it, dig me. I just couldn't believe that. So you got to understand, no matter what, Angela's created a substantial amount of enemies this week. Lisa is mad at her. Kenny's mad at her. Kimo's probably the only one that will let it go. But because they have 2 chances to come off the block, that's what makes today so interesting. Are we going to get 2 veto comps? Or is it just going to be 2 chances at safety? Because from what I'm being told, America's going to be able to vote on a veto, and we get to decide who replaces who with that veto too. So we're going to be the veto holder, and we're going to get to vote on who the replacement nom will be. So now I want you all to comment in the comment section below and let me know, out of all these players you see, after I've already given you an update on how things are matriculating, who do you want to be on that block? Do you still want Lisa to leave, like I preferred? Or is Lisa providing too much entertainment now to leave? Would you maybe prefer a Kimo to leave the game? Would you maybe prefer a Rubina? Would you maybe prefer a T-Kor? Would you maybe prefer a Kenny still, right? Or would you just prefer maybe a Matt or an MJ? Do you just want them split up? I think there is so much entertainment value in Matt and MJ right now. I mean, literally, Angela this morning had a house meeting from the damn steps, told Matt to his face how much she don't like him, said he threatened her. Now, I can't confirm or deny if he ever threatened her. All of this beef here stems from the fact that Matt believes he was promised he wouldn't go up. Angela's telling people she never promised Matt a damn thing. So it's creating this tension. And when you have players like Leah stoking those flames, letting Matt know about a 9, now Matt believes, oh, I can rally people against Angela because she's clearly crazy as cat, as HOH. So because of that, Matt has almost been, a battery's been put in his back to confront her. Angela, I can't say a battery's been put in her back. I just think she's losing it to the point where she just wants to, you know what I'm saying, put some respect on her name. And she just wants the gameplay to be more out in the open because all of the secrets and all of the telephone game antics is starting to get to her more and more. And I think she wants to force players within the 9 to be more transparent by placing Matt in a more precarious position so they can't go back to that wishing well. You feel what I'm saying? I think this is a strong arm tactic strategically on Angela's part to basically pincer a player like Matt in, trap him, that way he doesn't have a choice. But then this beckons another question. If MJ does have a twist, can MJ do anything to save Matt if he's backdoored? Or can MJ only do something if she were to be backdoored? All of these things are on fans' minds as well. But let me give you all my new top 5 updated power ranking, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much for watching. This is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. My top 5 power rankings are as follows. Now, yesterday, you all knew it was Quinn, Joseph, Chelsie, Leah, and Brooklyn. Today, it is Quinn. Chelsie now has moved up to second place. Cam has moved up to third place because this guy somehow is in all of these rooms. He's around all of these players on opposite sides, but he is not a threat to the Kennys. He's not a threat to the Matts. This is fantastic for Cam's game. Also, the core 3 being formed, guaranteed Cam would eventually insert himself into the power rankings here. Fourth place, it's got to be Joseph still, even though I believe he fell a bit because his game is starting to get figured out a little bit to the other side. I still believe Joseph, because he linked up with Chelsie to recruit the 2 extra numbers to replace Chelsie and Cedric's lack of votes this week, I think it still set up Joseph very well to be a kingmaker. And fifth place, I still got Brooklyn. Even if there's a scenario in which Angela is starting to doubt Brooklyn due to her trying to keep her options open by staying on Kenny's good side, I just think that's solid game frame from Brooklyn. Look at the noms. Doesn't it feel like Kenny's the one who's most likely to come off the block if one of them are going to? You should not want to close that door completely. This is the same mistake a lot of players made towards Angela before she won HOH. They saw her, they made an assumption based off how she looked. They thought they could judge the book based off the cover, and then the mother truly came back to smother. You feel it? Dig me, coach. And right now it's hard to breathe. So what you got to understand is, in this game, you cannot afford to write anyone off. The same way I said these players made a mistake writing off Angela, the big mistake might be writing off Kenny right now. Because we all know production does not want to see him go first if they have a say in it. They don't want him to be another Glenn. You feel it? Dig me, coach. They don't want him to be another Glenn. So, with all that said, Kenny seems fired up. If he gets to pick players for veto, it feels like he's going to pick a strong guy like Matt, because now that Angela's aired out Matt before the veto's played, now Matt has incentive to get picked for veto, win it, take off Kenny. Now they're both safe. And that's another wrinkle in this. I'm worried that Angela blew her gasket too soon. I think you should have done this after you knew the results of the veto comp, after you knew who was coming off the block for sure. Because what if noms just stay the same? Then you just made an enemy out of someone who's guaranteed to make week 2. And now you still got to choose between Lisa and Kenny, who no longer seem as threatening as Matt should, with MJ next to him, with a possible twist. And you know Leah on their side, because she's starstruck. So, in my opinion, I really like Angela. She is printing money. She's definitely helping the channels like myself keep views up. This will always stimulate and boom the economy when you talk about reality TV. So we want to thank you for your service, Angela. But with that said, I also want to see you make jury, because you've been such a fantastic first week HOH. I don't want to see you fall in the same line of peril that the Frenchies, that the Palomas, that the what's that other player I'm thinking, that the Rileys have fallen into as of late. You know, first HOH, we got to give Cody Calafiore some credit. This dude won the first HOH and he just steamrolled the game. He made all of that look really easy. And we've seen ever since his win, winning first week HOH is clearly full of landmines. And if you don't tiptoe your way through things like Tiffany Mitchell herself, the Shadow Realm could await you, coach. So, in closing, I'm very excited for what the rest of this week will entail. I'm on my way back to these feeds, but the biggest takeaway that I want y'all to take from this rant is there's a lot of moving parts. If you're a T-Kor and Kimo fan, have hope. I think there's a 0% chance Kimo gets voted out this week. So if you're a Hawaiian fan of RBR, hey, take a sip on that alone. I hope y'all have a great weekend. I hope y'all enjoy these feeds. I hope you enjoy yourselves. And once again, remind yourself, this is a marathon, not a sprint, okay? And even though this is only week 1, I think we can all admit this season thus far is much better than any of the recent seasons. We don't know who the front runner is right now. Sure, people can say it's Quinn, but Quinn is linked at the hip to Angelo, who just nuked her game. Even his game isn't necessarily Teflon right now. So I don't want to hear people creating no narratives that this is some steamroll in the making, because I'm seeing a lot of people willing to work with other people, and we know how this game works. Once power shifts to another side, the lemon booty settings are about to be alive. You feel it? Dig me, coach. I'm Dave Smith for Reese Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism, and this was the people-pleasing paradox. Do you agree with my take? Did you enjoy feeds thoroughly over the last day? Please don't forget to smash this like button, subscribe. That way you can be here with the flyest live chat in the game. And I'll see y'all for another one within the next coming days. Until next time. Woo! I told y'all about this cast, didn't I?